This story centres around Warrington's oldest pub, the Black Horse Inn on Liverpool Road. The man in charge of the stable at the inn was an exceptionally popular blacksmith by the name of Giles Boston. A group of cavaliers entered the Black Horse Inn and demanded all the horses in the stable. The landlord refused and as a result was run through with a sword. Giles Boston in turn drew his sword. The leader then drew his pistol and shot Giles in the chest, reloaded, and shot him a second time. Giles Boston crawled to 100 yards to seek help. He probably died where now stands the Sloop Hotel. Put your hometown in the comment for a video, like and follow. In 1828, a young boy was playing in Oncokes when he was approached by an old lady. She asked him to deliver a cake to a man named Mr. Drummond. When he knocked on Drummond's door, he was greeted by his wife, who told him that the cake was not for them. When the boy got home, he gave the cake to his mother, and she began to share it out in the street. As soon as people began swallowing the cake, they began to complain of a burning sensation in their throat and were violently sick. One child died. Tests showed that the cake was laced with arsenic. The old woman was never found. Comment your hometown, like and follow. Richard Dadd was a paranoid schizophrenic painter known for his meticulous detail and strange supernatural visions, with some describing his paintings as hallucinatory. Born in Chatham, the man claimed his inspiration came from delirium, a sudden confusion as a result of being ill. In August of 1843, having become convinced that his father was the devil in disguise, Dadd slit his throat and fled to France. En route to Paris, Dadd attempted to kill a fellow passenger with a razor, but was overpowered and arrested by police. On the 7th of January 1886, Dadd died, has spent 20 years in Bethlehem and Broadmoor asylums. The Baker Peters House is an antebellum house, located on the south side of Kingston Pike in Knoxville TN. Harvey Baker was a Confederate supporter and his son Abner was a Confederate soldier. Dr. Baker was killed at the home by Union troops who traveled along Kingston Pike during a raid of Knoxville in June 1863. Union troops shot through a barricaded door in the home and hit Drive Baker. His son Abner was away at war at the time of the incident. Abner became a historical figure upon his return in 1865 when he shot and killed a man named William Hall in downtown Knoxville. Like, follow and comment your hometown. The Phantom of the Forest used SAS survival techniques to evade a huge armed police manhunt. Barry Prudhomme killed police officers, took hostages, and shot people whose homes he burgled during a 2-week spree of violence in summer 1982. The 37-year-old was only caught when a former SAS soldier and tracking expert joined the search. He was 300 yards away from the police station. He killed a total of 3 people: C. David Hay, George Luckatan, Pease, David Winter. When Prudhomme's shelter was found, a shootout began. Prudhomme was discovered dead inside. He had suffered 21 gunshot wounds, including a self-inflicted shot. The square mile of murder relates to an area of West Central Glasgow, Scotland. In 1857, Madeleine Smith laced her lover Pierre-Emile Langelier Coco with arsenic at 7 Blytheswood Square. This was the Sandyford murder case, in which Jessie Macpherson was brutally struck 40 times with a meat cleaver in 1862. Macpherson had gashes to her head, which had cut through the bone. The serial killer Dr. Edward William Pritchard, known as the Human Crocodile, poisoned his 3 victims in Berkeley Street. Marion Gilchrist's death, in 1908, was pinned on Oscar Slater, the subject of a major miscarriage of justice. This happens at 49 West Princes Street. Like, follow, and comment your...
Grade they grub on cheap, they got me baffled. Cats hold it down for a man when I go OT, big man like Breezy. Got food in the car, shit strong, I'm my OD.
The 19th of November 1943, workmen saw a sack floating in the river. They were shocked and horrified to see it contained the body of a middle-aged woman. She was naked and had been strangled, and then, it would appear, beaten so severely as to try and hide her identity. 3 months later, in February 1940, police found that Mrs. Caroline Manton was the victim. Horace William Manton was arrested for the murder of his wife. He stated that he had struck her with a heavy wooden stool during an argument. Like, follow, and comment your hometown. Yellow fever is a harsh, potentially deadly virus that thrives in semi-tropical locations. This virus was the most feared disease in the United States for generations. In mid-August 1862, Wilmington officials reported an outbreak of the deadly disease in the city. The population of Wilmington was about 10,000, but an alarming number of people were getting sick, very sick, and as a result of an unknown illness. It was thought to be the deadly plague, but it actually turned out to be yellow fever. It resulted in 6,000 people fleeing the city. 4,000 who remained behind, the majority of them got sick, and over 600 of them died.